Welcome to Retro Scale Modelling. My next build is the Airfix Heron Mark II. Scale is 1:72. As you can see by the picture, it's one of the older kits from the classic series by Airfix. This is going to be a straight out of the box build as normal. I won't be adding any extra details or decals or anything like that to it. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So first of all, just a quick look what's inside the box. I'm not doing a separate intro for this because there's actually not much inside the box at all. First of all, the decal sheet. The decals look a fairly good condition, a little bit of yellow into them, but that will add more authenticity, I think, to a vintage model build. Now the kit is very basic. There's no interior to the kit apart from the cockpit. I was thinking about scratch building interior, but then in the end I thought, no, you wouldn't hardly see it anyway. So I'm just going to build it as it comes, as I said at the beginning. There's only 2 pages for the instructions. The one thing it's good to point out though, the kit does come with a crew and a stewardess and steward as well as steps leading up to the aircraft. So it would be excellent for a diorama if you wish to do that, if you got hold of this kit. So in the box itself, the kit, as you can see, it's all a bit jumbled up, like these old kits generally are. There's a couple of pieces off the sprue, but nothing too major to deal with. Just readjust my camera there. As I said, the kit is quite simple. There's a little bit of flashing on the kit, but nothing too major that most modelers can deal with. The clear parts are going to need a little bit of cleaning up, just a bit of wash and some clear put on it to bring back their sparkle. I'm just pointing out there the landing crew and there as the pilots as well. I won't be doing the pilots or the landing crew though, but I will be making it with the wheels down. And this is all the kit, so there's not a lot in it whatsoever. So after washing the parts and priming, it's time to start putting them together. So first of all is the pilot seat and the co-pilot seat. There's just a little pin for these to go through the floor plate. The instrument panel is basic also, and it's just a simple decal for this. Now, this was a tester on the decals to see how well they perform, and it went very well. It was surprised by such old decals. These were held together. Sometimes they will break it apart. But I didn't use any decal solution, just water, because obviously decal solution will thin the decal down. So sometimes it's better just to use water, and that will help it from keeping it from breaking apart, I should say. I'm using Revit Aquila 76 light grey, and this is for the main interior of the cockpit. I am only painting the cockpit and not painting the passenger area within the fuselage. I've had a test of putting the two half of the fuselage together and you can barely see anything inside it, so there's no need to paint it. So while that paint's drying, I'm actually going to go and mask the canopy. Now this is something I generally don't do. I'm more than happy to paint them freehand. Those who are familiar with my video will know that I use this technique all the time. But this canopy, there's not a lot of ridge work on it to work off, so I'm having to use masking tape. So it's back to the cockpit, and I'm using Revit Aquila 804 leather brown, and this is just for the seat cushions on the chair. Again, I'm not painting massive details here, generally just block colours. The reason is you're not going to get to see much of this detail at all, so there's no point in painting it all in. Of course you can if you wish. You know, the professionals out there would more than happy adding some detail and things like that, and I sometimes do myself. It's just on this particular build I just want a straightforward build after a few difficult builds. So there you can see is the canopy is all masked up now. And if you wonder what this orange thing is, that's just a little tool that, for cutting strips of masking tape. So going back to the sprues, I'm painting on the sprues. So I'm using the 76 colour, the light grey colour, just to paint the areas of the door and parts of the landing gear. Then I'm moving on to Rebel Aqua Colour 90 Silver. This is for the piston parts of the landing gear and areas on the inner doors, just to pick out tiny bits of detail that you might glimpse through the windows. For the tyres, I'm using Life Colour Black Rubber Shades Tyre Black. This is a very good colour for tyres. In fact, the Life Colour rubber shade series, comes in a little packet, are very good for tyres, rubber pipes and so on. So if you're able to get a hold of that set, I would highly recommend it. It's now time to place in the cockpit, so the seats are going in. This sits on a well-defined ridge inside the cockpit, so there was no trouble fitting it. Next to go in will be the instrument panel. That sits just at the top, as you would expect. If you're an experienced builder, you will know exactly where that has to go. But if you are new to the hobby and you're just watching this for the first time, there is a little ridge underneath the fuselage where the instrument panel does sit. The trick is getting it to the halfway point or the curve or the instrument panel. Next is the windows. Now I've run out Canopy glue, so I'm using normal cement here. If you're using normal cement, just put in tiny little dots on the framework and on the actual fuselage, not the clear plastic. Give it a minute to 90 seconds. Let the vapours evaporate before fitting it. That way you'll reduce the risk of the clear part fogging up. If you put the clear part on straight after you've applied the cement, there's a good chance that the clear part will fog up. Now this one had actually snapped in two, but it snapped at the frame part, so there was no issue. So it still dropped in quite nicely. I held these down with a couple of clamps. They were slightly, because of the nature of the fuselage, and it was one long strip, one end kept on popping out, so it was better just to hold it down with a bit of a clamp, so that it was all stabilised. Next is the window for the door, and once that was in, I was able to put in the rear bulkhead. Again, not much painting done here, just the base colour. I highlighted a little bit with silver, just to pick out a tiny bit of detail, but not much. Then it was time to put in the landing gear. Now, this landing gear location area is quite a large location point for this. I assume you have the option for this to move up and down if you wish, and having it in a fixed position. But the way it's designed, it can easily just pop in there. There's a little knob of plastic, it goes through an eyelet, and it can be free moving. Next is the main door. I've placed in the clear window. I'm just placing in the door itself. Now you may have noticed it's a different colour. That's because it's just grey primer. I used white primer on the fuselage, basically because the top of the plane will be white, so it's easier to have white primer on that. I forgot to prime the door grey, but this part, the door will be silver anyway, so that will be okay. I will probably have to go over with more primer anyway once I sort out the seam lines, but I'll think about that once I get to that stage. Next is to put a little bit of weight in, and I'm using a bit of PVA glue here, and I've run out my super glue. This time of year, it's January, and I've run out of most of my materials that I normally use, so I'm just waiting on some getting delivered, but PVA glue will work fine. It just takes a little bit longer to dry. and what I'm doing here is just putting a little bit in, then I'm putting a little bit of plasticine in as the weight agent. Now, plasticine can do funny things to certain plastics. Just be aware of that. Sometimes the oils can leak out and seep into the joints that you cemented. It's never really happened to me, but I have heard stories of it happening. So use plasticine at your own risk. And once that's in, all there's left to do for this part of the video, part 1, is to close up the fuselage. And I'm just using normal poly cement for this. A little tip for you, if you've got a large area and you're worried about handling the piece that you're bonding together, have one half cemented, then the opposite half cemented. That way you can pick it up without worrying about any glue getting onto the craft. Now, thinking about looking at the seams, I should say, it looks like they will have to be sanded down and dealt with, but I'll let this dry overnight and then I'll deal with that in the next part. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, as well as the like button, and of course leave a comment and share the video. But for now, thanks for watching, bye bye.